Hey guys, welcome back to part six of Metroid Other M. And in this part, we get to travel under the sea.
Ooh.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
Will, there's something I was noticing you doing in the last episode when you were fighting those bosses. When you sort of did like a scoot with your feet, sort of.
Oh,
you sort of just like shuffled forward. Why are you doing that?
Because every day Samus is shuffling. And the reason that I do that is because it's the best way to activate, as we saw in the tutorial, I believe, activate her. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like it's called Sense. I can't remember if that's a full term for it. But basically, it's what she does to move out of an enemy's way or like a projectile's way at the last second. So you'll see me do that a lot. I'll be shuffling like crazy, just waiting for someone to fire so that I can dodge and then quickly retaliate with an attack.
Yeah, her Samus-Sense was tingling.
Yeah, her Samus-Sense. That's it. She was born with it.
That sounds like a pretty high level play, Will.
If you actually play this game, it's really not. Like, like half the time it's so obvious to tell when things are coming, and it's like, oh wait, boom.
It's almost like it forces you to do it. It's the thing. I mean, there are people who, like, I'm sure don't like abuse that mechanic a whole lot, but oh yeah, for some reason the fish disappear once you reach this point. I got really psyched out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kill Last Piranha. It's been chasing me since like the first part. And I turn around, it's gone. It's like, you don't even give me the dignity of killing you. Yeah. But this part,
I mean, like, you know, you have to remember, this game has no dignity.
Yeah. No, again, I will defend its gameplay. I think the action is fun. What don't you like about it, Jordan? Don't you think it's cool when, like, you know, when Samus is facing like a giant ass monster and like at the last second you gotta dodge out of its way using like her Spidey sense, her Samus-Sense? I'm sorry.
I mean, that's sort of a it's like it's really just giving you a quick time event, right?
Yeah, it is kind of
a disguised sort of quick time event.
Like, I mean, like, you know, there are other games that do that, but I mean, like, at the same time, it's like, you know, that's what, like, for example, I compare it to, say, you know, the Batman Arkham games, when, like, you have to press counter at just the right moment, right? But you're able to, like, you know, you have to fight a whole bunch of guys, because if you don't counter, like, not only is it going to be difficult, but, like, I don't know, the counter moves are actually pretty sweet. Here, it's just like, oh, simple dodge out of the way, and you do it 1,000 times. And I mean, half the time it doesn't really matter because these bosses are, like, stupid easy anyway. So, I mean, I honestly didn't, like, I mean, if there is not really anything I really like about this game, to be completely honest with you. And one of the things I sort of want to like, but I just can't, and that sort of extends a bit to the new Smash Brothers 2, is the redesign of Samus's armor.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
They made her like way thinner, and her armor's like all more angular and stuff. I kind of like the chunky armor.
Yeah, she's a little more yellow too, her armor.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think the biggest problem I have with it is just how they remodeled the shoulders. And I know it's like a very, very small touch, but there was those spikes that hugged like the edges of her shoulders. I really like those, and they had like a whole little round sort of gear looking sort of aspect of them. I don't like how they redesigned it. I really don't.
And yet Metroid Prime does it better in a game that's primarily a first person game.
I know.
And they get it.
Do you think the leaner suit like works well with how sort of fast paced the action is? Like how, you know, how fast she runs all the time and stuff. Like the more angular suit sort of works to, you know,
it makes her feel more nimble.
The look of more mobility.
And the suit will get bulkier as we go on into the game, where, you know, like, you know, when we get... it gets a little bit, I think. Or does it just get a skin, like, surge? It gets a skin change. I could have sworn it gets, like, a little bulkier after you get the Varia suit, but...
It does. Well, she's wearing the Varia suit.
Not until Adam puts us through the trials of like 1,000 degrees Celsius.
No. She's wearing the Varia suit, but she, for some odd reason, can turn on or off whether or not it works. Because I mean, I don't know why. Because I mean, like, you know, you don't just wear a hazmat suit and decide whether or not it protects you from radiation.
Well, because Adam didn't authorize it, obviously. But you know, that's one thing that really frustrates me about this game. The fact that you just saw how slow that water section was going. And after playing Sonic 1, it's really getting to me now. But why doesn't Adam just, like, why doesn't Sam just turn it on? It's like this. I get it. Adam wants to prevent, like, his team from harming any of the environment and stuff. That's why he restricts the use of like these lethal weapons. But the suit isn't gonna harm anyone. It's gonna make our jobs a lot easier.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree that validation or that reason to lock away powers is like pretty ridiculous. I don't think anyone actually likes it.
No, it still goes without saying, at least for this commentary, because we haven't I don't think we've beaten it to the ground yet, but we'll get there.
Well, I mean, Dan hasn't even seen the worst part of it.
Oh, again, we will get there.
And when we do, oh my god.
It just makes you question a lot of things.
Do we have another, how many of those, like, because when we started this game, there was like a 20, well, maybe not 20 minutes, maybe like a 15-minute cutscene. How many of those are there in this game? In terms
many of them.
Really long ones, really?
They never get that long.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're maybe like 5-minute cutscenes moving forward. But I don't think they ever hit anything like the 10-minute mark. As we approach the end of the game, like the final few cutscenes are a little longer. But yeah, during the gameplay, no. There are a few of them, and of course you have to go through the murder mystery where everybody like tries to figure it out Scooby-Doo style before they die. Who done it?
When they finally bring the murder mystery to focus, it's like everybody's okay, gang, split up and look for clues, and everyone dies.
For someone who hates this game, I've only played it once. You sure have a good memory of it, Jordan. I feel like you secretly love it.
Oh God, no! Okay, put it this way. If for some odd reason we end up hating each other in the future, God forbid, this will be reason number one. Because I tried to forget this game really hard, and now I'm remembering everything, and I hate it.
All those horrible memories coming back. Again, it could have used a little more life. I think they wanted to take the realism to a whole nother level, like you making it like feel like a really, Dead Space. Actually, yeah, like a Dead Space space station.
Well, it's too clean is the problem. It's like Dead Space, but like Dead Space is sort of dilapidated. It's run down and all of this sort of stuff. Which is, Dead Space is a horror game, so it's sort of supposed to.
But it also had.
I'd argue that Dead Space pretty much stole a lot of elements from Metroid Prime, actually.
Well, the thing about Dead Space is that it sort of has like a Bioshock effect. Like, yeah, it's dark and dreary, but you can see that there, like, a lot of things happened here. Mm-hmm. On the bottle ship, it's very sterile. It's clean to a fault.
And not only that,
it feels like Alien, like the movie Alien, like the first one.
Yeah,
it feels like sort of that, like especially like these sort of plateau levels where you have all that exposed wire and it's all sort of like dark black.
Yeah, sort of not only that, but like even though they give you an explanation on why the place is kind of abandoned, it still doesn't really give me a convincing reason why they this entire place is just left with nothing there.
It does, and again, another thing Fusion did much better in this game. Like it just felt like there was a lot more going on in that space station. Here, it's like they create these environments just for the purposes of giving Samus a longer time to get from point A to point B.
Basically, it felt. I honestly like. Even when you take into account this ship, like how the bottle ship is just designed, it felt like when they designed the ship in the Metroid universe, it's like, if a bounty hunter comes here, how can we make sure they spend all their time in all these varied environments? Because we're not going to actually design this in a logical way.
No, but yes, but to that. See, I was gonna use the Sonic games as a who in the world, like what kind of highways are designed with loop-de-loops, but similar, because we'll eventually get the speed booster in this game, and it made me question. Okay, hold on. At what points are scientists going to like stick a jetpack on their back and run at like 50 miles per hour to get from point A to point B? But then if you want to read into a little more, it's like, oh wait, maybe this corridor was like one of those cargo elevators at one point, and that's why it's so steep and things like that.
But they're not going to stick them all over the ship.
No, yeah, they're not going to stick them all over the ship, and they're also not shoving in your face, so it is a bit of a stretch for you to believe that. And I do like this. Actually, just commenting on that fight, I love how like when you get hit by an enemy, you don't only get hit. If they land a strike on you, like there's a full like animation, for the enemy to show them like killing your ass.
Yeah, so it's basically like a long unskippable cutscene where you're just basically like do not want.
It's 5 seconds, not even.
Yeah, I mean
that.
that's like what like horror.
Well, I mean you got
Yeah.
like I know, but you got like globbed like 5 times in a row right there. That's a good 25 seconds of you can't doing it.
Obviously, I want to show off the animation.
Actually, I do think the animations in this game are pretty good. Like all of Samus's like in-fight animations and stuff, and like all of the way she like rests on her knee while she's shooting and all these sorts of things. I think they all look pretty good.
I think I'd argue that as good as they look, they don't belong in a Metroid game.
I think they give this game a little more life, though.
I still don't see Samus, going on things Ninja Gaiden style.
I don't see this Samus.
It looks cool. I mean, like that was sort of the selling point of when this game was announced. But I mean, like, still, like, after all said and done, I just still can't. Like you said, like I don't believe the Samus around there keep talking about is the one that we're playing in this game.
Agree. Yeah, this Samus in particular. If this Samus's movesets were applied to the Samus from like Fusion or Zero Mission, I would totally buy it. Like,
or
yeah,
Smash.
that's totally her. Or Smash.
I think it has to be like. I don't think I would. I think the Samus in those games is like pretty reserved. Doesn't really like aggressively go after things.
Well, I mean, if you consider this, it's kind of hard to say the Samus in those games because I mean, like, if you really get down to the chronology, this is the most recent game besides Fusion.
That's right. This takes place just before Fusion, if I'm not mistaken. And to this day, Fusion is the last game in the Metroid chronology. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So this game actually does fit. Like, where does this game take place in the canon?
After Super Metroid and before Metroid Fusion.
Okay. See, I always assumed that this game was like not really connected to those, like just from it being called Other M and being from another studio. I just sort of like assumed.
Well, I mean, the first cutscene is the end of Super Metroid.
Right.
And we're introduced to Adam here, and we find out that she's that's her supervising officer in the days of the Federation, and then we get him again in Fusion. So yeah, it actually fits quite well in terms of the overall chronology.
Except
I guess I just
ruined that.
because of all the cutscenes that like flash back. I guess I just assumed this game was a prequel.
To Fusion, yeah.
It would make like, here's the thing, like a lot of my complaints story-wise to this game, I would totally forgive if this was like Samus's first ever mission, but no.
Yeah, you know what, to that point, if this was Samus's first ever mission after like Zero Mission, I think they could totally write off. I don't think anyone would have a problem with the authorization, with the with the fights that she has later on when she like totally freezes up, because that would make sense. She's early on in her career. She just left the Federation. She's on her own in deep cold space. Fine, but this is her last mission before Fusion, and in Fusion she's already a hardened badass. And even at the point of Super Metroid, she is. She's doing that solo mission on her own and nails it. But yeah, it goes without saying. It just doesn't fit. Story-wise and plot-wise, yes. Character-wise, no. I don't think Samus was written right for this stage in her life.
Yeah.
But that be like, speaking to chronology, do you think? Because I think the developer. Oh, yes, that's right, yeah. But speaking of chronology, Federation Force apparently does have a place in the Metroid timeline. Where would you want to see it?
Me?
Yeah,
well,
both of you guys. Yeah.
Well, I honestly would like to see. I actually don't mind it taking place at any point when Metroid Prime takes place, even if it was like after 3. And I mean, I'm not really fussy about when the game takes place as long as it makes sense. Other M doesn't, but as long as they can tell a good story that sort of doesn't butcher the entire franchise.
How about you, Dan? Any thoughts on that?
It's sort of like I said before. Like, I don't really need my Metroid games to be connected to anything at all. Even like the plots, Metroid. I'm sort of more there for the atmosphere than the actual story beats or plot. I mean, those story beats don't come in very much. It's sort of, hey, you get thrown into this one area that throws you into this area, and now you have to explore that area, and so on and so forth. I think there are like some decent story beats that are like told in game in a lot of those older games. And
wait,
even
are you supposed to go on?
games.
Are you supposed to go on top of that console?
No, you're just supposed to activate it.
Oh, it looks like you're supposed to.
Oh, Samus, jump on this computer to activate this. I like this. I like this particular environment. You don't do anything in this room, but I think it's like one of the most like well-crafted. Like,
is that why you looked around it?
That's why I looked around it. I wanted to show, if anything, I wanted to show this off. It's like, cool. look how beautiful this game could be. Okay, now let's go.
Or how lived in it could be.
Yeah, it actually feels like this is a place where people like worked. And I get it, it's the whole like sterile, cold, like alien feel, like you were saying, Dan. But yeah. I personally like to see Federation Force take place maybe like as a prequel, like during the when Ridley and the Space Pirates were at their height.